Hey there everybody, Joe here. Today I thought I'd take you on a tour of my latest sketchbook. It's a little bit different. I use my sketchbook for notes. I use my sketchbook for just basically idea generation. So let's get started and see what I got going on. Okay, the first thing is the cover. And with this, I basically used the Posca paint pens and kind of worked up just this little goofy kind of character. I just doodled them up and I call them Gloopy. So this is the official Gloopy sketchbook. Okay, first page. I didn't do anything on the back of the cover. I guess I just don't usually. So, but the first idea I was playing around with is this thing called I call it the Vorpal Splorch. So in Dungeons and Dragons, the Vorpal sword was this. If you critted, basically you could decapitate your opponent. So I think I have to look up the rules and stuff exactly how that works, but I think it was you rolled a crit and then I think you rolled again, but I can't remember because when your 10, 11-year-old self just thinks, oh, that's so cool if I roll a crit with this sword, and it was magic and stuff too. So, but I was thinking the Vorpal Splorch because I like some of the old school Renaissance style role-playing games, and I thought it'd be kind of neat. So this is like basically this demon, and it's getting its head splorched off, and it's going to say Vorpal Splorch. So yeah, so that was some of the ideas. Next page, I was working on for Carnival Foods. I was working up some winter designs for a coloring book page, and then some ideas for some different types of food labels. All sorts of stuff. So, and then this one obviously is a Valentine's card, but fun food facts about broccoli. Broccoli. 1 cup of broccoli has more vitamin C than an orange. Fun stuff like that. There's a giant bundle of broccoli is a giant bundle of unopened flowers. Eggs. Just some ideas for like how I would create things. And then one of the things I'm doing at it's Carnival Groceries where I'm working for my part-time job. And one of the things I'm working on is the first Thursday of the month, trying to get a meetup going where we just kind of gather in their little cafe in the front at night and have some coffee and do some drawing and creativity. So here's me. This is me working up the logo. And I kind of came through a lot of different iterations and some notes for like what my basically the elevator pitch would be. And finally, this is the kind of the logo I came up with, and I think I'll post the graphic of it here. You can see that, and then you can see I can kind of work through a couple more things. And then these are just doodles. These are more for the winter coloring book page. And I think I'm trying to remember if I finished that or not, because due to situations in the world, I can't remember if we actually gathered for the January event or not. So I can't remember. Anyway, but then here's me thinking about the 10 minutes a day drawing challenge, which if you'd like to check that out, I'll link to it down below. So here's this guy. He's going to be jumping off off a sled. So like I said, this is a lot of design stuff. Oh, and then if you how to not draw a Valentine's Day card, that's this thing here. Basically all of the different things, some different ideas for basically what would you put on the Valentine's heart candy. And this is be mine, right? And front towards enemy, different kind of mine. So be mine. Fun. And okay, yeah, so here's the Winter Wonderland. This is kind of the final sketch, and I believe I took a picture of this and brought it into Photoshop and kind of finalized the design before I inked it in Photoshop. Different things. Oh, here's me playing around with this crazy rabbit holding up basically a mug of cocoa. Monster carrot there. Some different woodland creatures. There's a little guy, little birthday cake. Oh, and this is I'm working through some ideas for. I think it's not happening this year, but just because of how events are going. But it was an online convention called ReaverCon, and I was working out some ideas for like what would be the new artwork for the t-shirts and designs and stuff. So I'm working through this guy with the Reaver with the big axes. I'm trying to get some good poses. I wanted to add some women barbarians to it too, and they were going to be on the outskirts, like fighting these like monster tentacles and such. So here's kind of like, what I was thinking. Maybe have 2 characters, one here and one here. So I was still playing around with that. It's not finished. Some of this stuff now is going to be sketches for my 10-minute sketches a day, I think. This is the sketch of my favorite, my coffee mug that I like from the bookstore that I really like, Bucket of Blood Books. They specialize in horror books and heavy metal. So it's pretty fun. These are some of my pen drawings from basically this was the crumpled up piece of paper drawing. Let's see if I got here. Draw your hands. These were 10. I believe these were 10 minutes. I think the 2 pages was 10 minutes. I can't remember. Here's a 10-minute Coke bottle, and this is just drawing with pens. So this was me attempting to do Humphrey Bogart in 10 minutes, and I did not nail the likeness, but it's all right. That's what, like I said, this is for idea generation. Monsters. I think these were 10-minute. This is all 10-minute stuff. Coming up with different parts, how they'd look. Here's another 10. I think this is a 10-minute doodle. So Spooch, gah, his head's popping off with brain blowing out. Kicked himself in the face. Backwards. Different little pencil sketches. One of the campaigns I'm playing in for Dungeons and Dragons. It's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's actually called Simbaroom. It's a different role-playing system, but you get to play. One of the racial types you can play are ogres, and I just wanted to play. I don't know. I haven't played a big dumb fighter in a while, so I thought, cool, I want to play an ogre. And then when you actually get into the book and in the advanced player's guide, they kind of tell you like where ogres come from. In the first book, they don't. They kind of hint at it, but in the advanced guide, they tell you where they come from specifically. And I'm not going to spoil it, but definitely check that out, because honestly, the backstory on where ogres come from and goblins and the trolls is pretty cool. So fun. So I was just kind of working up. I'm trying. I don't think I've ever finished this either. It was like trying to work it up pretty quick and then get it onto Roll20 for a digital image. But his character name, his character name is 2, and he just paints it on it. It just painted it on him. So they numbered him. This is I was at a convention. This is from Winter Fantasy. And so this was a drawing of a person's player character. So I do player character portraits at conventions, and these are the pencil sketches. He's got this goblin pirate, and he wanted he wanted it to look like kind of Trapjaw from He-Man for his parrot. So I thought I was kind of working through that, how that would work. Some drawings of my shoe, Converse All-Stars. And these are, I think this is some other ideas for like the female characters for that ReaverCon stuff. So just kind of working through some poses and trying to figure out like how I want to give them, an action shot where they're fighting things. And this is another, I think this was draw your winter garb. So these were gloves that were kind of folded up. This was I believe this was 10 minutes. Draw your pet. These are 10 minutes. This was a 10-minute sketch thing over the course of the 2 pages. So I think this is obviously a cat, a little squished out. This is one of the things. So one of the reasons I bring my sketches into Photoshop is I have a tendency to, and I don't know if it's because of my glasses or what, or because of how I hold my whole page, but I tend to warp things a little bit in terms of the spatial stuff. So like when I started out, see how everything's kind of mushed off to the one side, and then this side's not quite done. So then when I did it the second time, I kind of paid more attention to that. So Marty Feldman, these were 10 minutes over the course of the 2 pages. So it was probably like 7 and 5, or not. If it's 10 minutes, not 7 and 5, but it's probably like 6 and 4, something like that. There's another. I think these were 10 minutes. Draw your zombies. So 10-minute little doodle here, and this was a 10-minute paint sketch, but it was done with Derwent Inktense pencils or the sticks, the blocks. This is another thing. I was working through some ideas for that it's still that ReaverCon stuff, I think. So here's this. Oh no, this was I actually got a commission from Goodman Games to do a little doodle for not a doodle, but an interior black and white illustration, quarter page of a. They wanted a player character doing something cool. So this it's a drawing of well, at this point it was just a person reaching into a bag getting stuff. So I think the final image I took some of this stuff and I scanned it in. Actually didn't scan it. I took a photo of it, brought it into Photoshop, and it's a dwarf fighter and a female, I think, elf wizard. And she's grabbing a potion bottle. Or she might not even be a wizard, actually. That probably was more like a rogue, like basically, or a thief, reaching into their bag, pulling out the key component. This is another Derwent Inktense painting, I guess, sketch painting, and of Jolly Rancher candy. So this is basically continuation of the Goodman Games stuff. So I was kind of working through some different ideas. So I had one idea where the person's basically leaping over a big bunch of like monstrous stuff coming out of a pit, and they're all collected in there. This was so this is the one I finally went with, the design that finally happened. So they pulled actually what they pull out of their bag is the skull that basically kills everything. So like the key moment, basically they roll a crit on their get my cool thing out of the bag roll. And so this one was basically going through the bags, and they were going to hold something back here, and it was going to zap this monster creature. So that's kind of what I was working through here. This is a Game Master Flash. Welcome to my worlds. I'm trying to come up. Sometimes I'm thinking about like, okay, what could I do for a T-shirt? So I was thinking about this thing where you've got this welcome to my worlds, and then this is all these ideas pouring out of the guy's head. This is kind of a monster creature, just kind of playing around with how this sort of like, I guess, lizard man with a bunch of eyes. So he's got multiple like spider-like eyes. Different creatures, little dragon, some kind of player character here. Beholders. Beholders are always fun. Oh, so this was so that one, I guess that was Winter Fantasy. I must have worked back through. Anyway, because this was some more player characters from a different convention called Polar Vortex. Was in January. Next year it's going to be in February. So I was working through some other player character portraits, Dragonkins and different things. Goblin player character. The Simplest Beholder. I'm kind of thinking about I was thinking about doing a video on how to draw a beholder. So I'm kind of still working through that a little bit. Happiness is a Warm Gub. Woody Allen. That would be from Take the Money and Run. So just little doodles. So I was thinking about the beholder, and then these were like ideas for beholder minions. So you've got this guy here that's like his eyes popping up off of his body. This is like one-eyed guy. Just kind of little goofy things. Thinking about my Schwinn Stingray. I still have that. It's another drawing of a tin can. It's a Sprite can with the Derwent Inktense. This was my junk drawer still life. So this is Skull Bowl. Basically, it's this. Well, that's not the guy, but anyway, these just a little kaiju monster, some dice, some little whoopee cushion underneath. Boba Fett might be the Mandalorian, but I think it's Boba Fett. I'm trying to remember. This is the gun, so that's Boba Fett. Some ideas for Twinkies. Twinkie the Illithid. Some ideas, a little weird little book of poetry and goofball doodles. A flip book of monsters. Muppet Star Wars crossover ends in tragedy. Old logo, the background. So these PC portrait stuff, working through some ideas. Werewolf little quick, this was a 10-minute sketch, I think. There's some 10-minute things. The dragon. Beware of the attack kobold. thinking of ideas for like maybe a sign for conventions. Delightful. Some of my cartoony flowers that are kind of fun to do. Cartoon flower people, I should say. And this is just a big giant ogre. This is, I think, still playing around with that character idea for the ogre, swinging this big giant axe. There's some more doodles. So this is a different page than this one. This was, I think, a 10-minute double page. So self-portraits. This was a quick 10-minute page. I believe I think I've got videos for some of these. So custom Dragon Slayer portraits. So basically just the pattern of the dragon scales in the background. Hang loose. These are also these were player character portraits. So she had she wanted to basically, it was the tarot cards, so she's casting spells to predict the future, and then her big thing with the bard was she wanted this Arctic fox that flies. She basically paid for a certificate as a pet, and I added in the clef mark, treble clef. All right, and then some more monsters. Looking through some stuff. This is probably doodles from that. These are from Winter Fantasy. I think that first one was actually the first player character portrait was Polar Vortex, but Paladins. She's got a like a magical eye that lights up, kind of glows a little bit differently. So, and he was a revenant. Oh, and here's some more doodles. I think there's a video of this painting here. This is my update to the Sturge. So he's kind of fun. Playing around with just how the colors work for that thing. This was the character portrait that I did for how do I do a character portrait. This is kind of working through the first pencils of getting him taken care of. Then I'm working through St. Patrick's Day cartoons for Carnival again, and this was to come up with the coloring page. So I'll show you that. I guess you can see that here. I think I'll show up a final version of that, and kind of went with this design. And basically I ended up, for some of the stuff, I dropped a QR code in here, QR code on the bottom. And these are just some ideas for some of my I think they're going to be larger paintings or signs for like convention stuff. So welcome to the dungeon. Please feed me. What's the worst that could happen? I've got blisters on my whatever the hell these are. You know, give me 5, slick. So kind of a weird beholder variant. Flat Clyde. I live on the wall. Some ideas for paintings, 2D paintings. These are some designs that I'm working up. This was me working up. I got another second commission from Goodman Games, and this is a little bit of a teaser for their. What was this guy for? This guy is for. He's for a Mutant Crawl Classics module, and Mutant Crawl Classics is kind of a future world where it's magic and technology kind of are in the same space. It's kind of fun. So I think it's kind of their riff on the old Gamma World stuff. So it's this character that's basically he's basically taken all these animals and kind of merged himself with them, and he's working on this big giant machine. So I kind of went with this. This was the final kind of design as opposed to him up on top of this dais, because it actually the way this works, it's not really the description of the room. I just in my mind I couldn't get. There's a vision. I think the character is Balthazar from the original Battlestar Galactica, and if this vision in my mind, so I haven't watched this. I probably watched this when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Vision in my mind of him in this dark cavern he's up on a pedestal, talking to Cylons. So okay, and then so this is my last series of this was like a week ago. A series of 5 illustrations for Goodman Games, and it's for their Dying Earth collection. So got to do a Ghoul Bear, and this was kind of the layout I went with for the beginning. So these are real roughs. basically. So I take a photo, pull it into Photoshop, and then finalize the pencil sketch, and then I should say refine it, and then based on what the art director says, I go with that version and ink it up. So these were all black and white, mostly quarter pages. Madlings, some of the ideas. The Madling sketch, I think I went with. These are some portraits for some of the characters. The Madling sketch, though, I think I went with what I developed on the computer, completely. And these were sketches for the Easter Bunny. So we're doing an Easter egg hunt, basically in Oak Park on a Saturday before Easter, and on Easter we're doing it in Lincoln Park. So this is kind of the 11 by 17 poster I worked up. And then I'm coming up with some ideas for Polar Vortex. I got some Mother's Day ideas filtering around in my head. Polar Vortex is going to be in February. I want to finish that design up for May. I got to get some pencil sketches though over the next couple of weeks so that I can go over them with the guys that are running the convention, because we're all going to be at CodCon, which is College of DuPage convention. So happy Mother's Day coming up. Some different, and then these are some ideas, some skulls, playing around with some skull ideas. Different. So when I was doing the drawings for the Dying Earth stuff, I kind of thought about having some creatures and stuff in the background, but because these things were only quarter page designs, you can't. There's some. I think there probably is something about too much detail, and I always kind of worry about that a little bit. But I thought if I had these creatures crawling around in the background, it might be too much. So I was thinking about this little squirrel, six-legged squirrel thing with scales instead of fur. And that is it. That's the last page. So over the next couple of days, what can you expect? You can expect a sketchbook cover design. I'm going to play around with that, just kind of work through that. And then what to do with the first page of the sketchbook, which to me, the one thing, so I should say one thing I have to get back in the habit of doing is dating the pages that I sketch on, because I think that's kind of an important thing, so you have a better idea of when did you do this, exactly. Is this in January or is this one in March? So yeah, so this is my sketchbook. This is a Alpha series, Stillman and Birn. So I really like the Alpha series. I think the thing that's nice about the Alpha series is the paper is good, but it's not too good. I have a couple. I have one of their. I think it's the Beta series. I think is their watercolor pages, and it's a great sketchbook. But for me, the paper feels too good, and I'm always worried about, because I use my sketchbook the way I do, where I don't want to worry about, did I waste this page? And so what happens is I lock up in the, this paper is too good for a sketchbook. So so that's just me. And the best way for me to get around it is to use a sketchbook that's got that happy zone of paper. This can take a little bit of water, not a lot of water, but just enough so that I can do what I want to do. So hey, don't forget, if you can give somebody a reason to smile, you just might get to smile too. If you made it this far, please be sure to give me a like. Share this with your friends if you think they'd be interested in what goes on in my mind, my sketchbook. And hey, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I hit 100 subscribers the other day, and it's awesome. Really, thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it. This is a fun. This is, there's definitely a learning curve to filming videos and sharing what you're doing with people, and I'm having a lot of fun. So hey, also check out my Ko-Fi coffee, my coffee thing, ko-fi.com, and that's where you can buy me a cup of coffee if you'd like to. And also that's where I'm going to be developing hopefully a community. They've got some things set up so that it's similar to Patreon, but I think it makes it easier to take payments. I don't know. Anyway, kind of having fun. I'm posting stuff over there. A lot of just links to kind of what I'm doing currently, and links to the YouTube process. Developing my website and at joeabarino.com. And pretty soon I'll hopefully be doing, have a better take on how the blog works with that. So anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Love you all. See you soon. Probably tomorrow. Bye.
Yo!